It may not have been the first or the best-selling muscle car ever, but the 6869 Dodge Charger was, in my opinion, the greatest one of all times. Huge engines, huge power, and that menacing look to it. Oh, it was like testosterone mixed with steroids, gasoline, and all set on fire and then shaped into a car, somehow. Having said that, who would have imagined that just 5 years later, the new Charger would look like this?
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh, Mary, Mother of Jesus! God, oh, God!
And it wasn't ugly just on the outside. Check out what they did in the interior. Where's the black leather? And what's the deal with all these luxury and comfort words they keep mentioning? The truth is, this 4th gen Charger was nothing but a rebadged Chrysler Cordoba. Big, soft, ugly boat of a luxury car with zero racing potential whatsoever. I mean, there's a reason why Dodge still used the previous generation for NASCAR. Think about that, they're smarter than I am. But that didn't stop them from making a special racy edition of this ugly one. Remember the old Daytona, the Winged Warrior, which was so fast that NASCAR actually banned it from competing? Well, here's the new one with its racing mirrors and the two-tone paint job. That's about it. No wings, no performance upgrades, no powerful engines, nothing. And still, they had the nerve to put Richard Petty next to it in the ad, alluding perhaps that the rebadged Chrysler Cordoba had something to do with the race car. It didn't. All in all, the 75 Charger was a travesty, but still not even close to being the worst muscle car ever made. Oh yeah, I've got more. Hey, I'm Stipe. Let's get on with the video. It wouldn't take long before we see the Mustang name desecrated too. Keep in mind, we're now well into the so-called malaise era of American cars. First, the oil crisis made everyone think twice about buying a gas-guzzling car, and then the stricter emissions laws made it almost impossible even if you wanted to. Ford was well aware of this situation, which is why the so-called Mustang II was a very different car now. Ready?
What is that? What the f*** is that?
Look at those tucked-in wheels. It's as if someone put a Mustang-esque body on a much smaller car, and well, that's exactly what did happen. Underneath, this was mostly a Pinto, Ford's subcompact economy car, with its economy engines included too.
The all-new Mustang II, almost 19 inches smaller than last year's Mustang, as in a new kind of car.
But you know what though? That made the Mustang II the perfect car for the time, as was evident by its sales numbers. What wasn't a perfect car was the King Cobra version. It had the name, it had the looks, it had the flared body, the lip spoiler, oh I'm getting excited, the trunk spoiler, the blacked out details, the big ass Cobra sticker on the hood, and a 5.0 V8 under it. But no muscle at all. With just 140 horses, or 28 per liter, it was less power dense than this lawnmower. Ford also gave it a sporty suspension, but don't expect this Super Pinto to suddenly have the grip of a teenager who just discovered Sasha Grey. In the end, only 4,300 King Cobras were sold, meaning that when it comes to things that came out of the 70s, this is rarer than a good haircut.
Holy Jesus.
And that muscle cars can fail even when the speed and power are there. You needn't look much further than the 2006 Impala SS. Yes, this rental-looking four-door is the latest in the lineage of the great SS Impalas from the 60s and the 90s. And while those looked absolutely evil, especially in black, the 06 model was as boring and as non-threatening to look at as the Cloud. Ah shit, I just realized this whole time I was showing the regular Impala LT, not the SS. So here it is. Now, let's play a game of finding maybe 5 differences. Slightly larger wheels, SS badges, the grill mesh is different, and the shape of the wing, and that's all. And that's not even 5. Come on, guys, it's a V8 performance car. Can't you give it some more grit?
You don't scare me. Work on it.
But worse yet is that this supposed muscle car is front-wheel drive. Now that's just wrong. Not only because, a muscle car that's burning the front wheels is like wiping your ass without the toilet paper, but also because anything over 200 horsepower going through the front wheels is unmanageable, unless you give it some trick suspension like on the Civic Type R. Did Impala have that? No. And how much power did it have? 303. That's enough for a 0 to 60 in just 5.6 seconds, which makes it the quickest accelerating Impala ever, but not enough to give it a cult following like the previous SS Impala had. Just don't make front-wheel drive muscle cars, okay? And also, don't give them a diesel engine either.
Күз кез көз, күш кеш көш, кір көр, күл кел көл, кілең қысқа сөз кім оқиды тез. Арқада алты арқар бар, қырқада қырық арқар бар, қырық арқарда ақ арқар бар, алты арқарда.
This is the Pontiac Grand Prix, a bigger and meaner brother of the first muscle car ever, the GTO. Because of its size, weight, and more luxurious trim, the GP was more of a grown-up grand tourer than a quarter-mile boy racer, but still a muscle car nonetheless, which is not what can be said about this fifth generation. You know the story, oil crisis, emission laws, malaise era, yada, yada. Yoda. What? Like the Mustang 2, this new Grand Prix was also downsized. Smaller body, introduction of the V6, barely breathing V8s, but also, you're not going to believe this, a diesel engine from an Oldsmobile. Why would you put a lumpy, noisy agriculture engine in a, what was once considered a performance coupe?
I'll tell you. I don't know.
Actually, I do know. Since diesels are generally more fuel efficient, the idea was to out-MPG all its rivals, albeit in the form of a 5.7-liter V8. And to all my European viewers, yes, that was our idea of a frugal engine. Sadly, whoever thought to save money on gas first had to spend big on having this pricey engine option and then spend some more every few weeks because this thing was having more breakdowns than Britney Spears. And when it was working, it was producing just 105 horsepower, which was good for 0 to 60 in, wait for it, yes, we're waiting for it, 17 seconds. And still, not the worst muscle car in this list. The AMC Rambler Marlin was an even bigger disaster. This is 1965, just a year after the first generation Mustang came out and sold better than baby oil next to Diddy's house. So naturally, AMC thought that they could get a piece of that action too. Keep in mind, they were an oddball company, proud of being different from the big three.
I'm special.
Their CEO even insisted on never participating in motorsport because the only race they care about is the human race. Blah, blah, blah. And now they're ready to copy others, chasing the younger audience because money. Except they did everything wrong. Fastbacks are cool and sporty, right? Yeah, but not when they look like this. You know how when people are making stretch limos, they just add extra metal in the middle? Please tell me this is not what they did here. It's so fat and ugly and ill-proportioned. It's actually reminded me of the first-gen Porsche Panamera. And that's not by accident. Both Panamera and this ended up looking that way because their 6'4" CEOs wanted to have enough headroom even in the back seat.
Plenty of legroom, hip room, headroom, even in the rear seat where the roofline sweeps lower.
Which young buyer cares about that? They don't even have kids, let alone kids that tall. Was it at least Panamera kind of fast? Nope. Here's the fastest, most powerful version. The 5.7 V8, 270-ish horses in a 0 to 60 time in around 10 seconds. Mustang, with the same amount of power, could do it in 7. Hey, when it comes to young buyers, looks and performance do matter a lot. But how slow can you really go while still wearing the muscle car name? Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the 3rd gen Chevy Camaro Sport Coupe with an Iron Duke engine. Ooh. Now, if those words made you think, oh, a sports car with a macho engine, think exactly the opposite. This is the same engine they put in the Grumman LLV truck used by the US Postal Service. The reason why? It was very durable and very good on fuel, which makes it a perfect choice. But in a performance car like a Camaro, you'd go faster by pushing the car than stepping on the gas pedal. Let me give you some headline figures. 2.5 liters, 4 cylinders, 90 horsepower, going through a slow 3-speed auto in a 0 to 60 time in 14 seconds on a good day with a strong wind, according to some sources. Do you realize how slow that is? Let me demonstrate for you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Actually, I lied. The main headline figure for the Iron Dookie model was 24 miles per gallon. That was the main selling point. So, did it work? It didn't. Despite being one of the cheapest Camaros ever, even when you adjust for inflation, less than 10% of buyers thought a slow but frugal version was what they needed in their life. Meanwhile, more than half of all buyers picked a
V8 motor.
Not that the V8 was much more powerful because of the stricter emissions laws, but hey, at least it sounded good. Which is not something I could say about the absolute worst muscle car ever. But before we get into that, here are some horrible mentions. Write in the comments if you can guess them below. And at number 1, here we go. That is the sound of the new, I can't help but laugh at this, I don't know why. That is the sound of the new Charger Daytona. Let me be a little more specific here, just so you get why I'm chuckling. It's the fake, lip sync, fart sonic sound of the new Charger Daytona EV. You know what EV means, right? Electric vehicle. What manner of things were they smoking when they agreed that an electric muscle car would be a good idea? Okay, much of the blame falls on Stellantis, the owner of Dodge and 13 other car brands. Instead of playing to each of their strengths, Stellantis' goal was to have more and more cars share the same platform, and of course, going carbon neutral by 2035. Oh, aren't we virtuous? For Dodge, that meant the death of Viper, the death of Hemi V8s, the death of pretty much every other performance-oriented model. But then someone thought, Charger? That sounds like charging batteries. We could bring it back as an EV, and since EVs are super fast, people will love it. People didn't love it. Pretty much everyone hated it. The unveiling video on YouTube got more dislikes than Kanye's Hitler song, just for social comparisons. And the same is true for almost any other post coming from Dodge's marketing team. A muscle car that doesn't shake your bones and all the windows down the street is not a proper one, no matter how you call it, shape it, or how fast it is. And the Daytona EV sales just supported what I just said. Since it hit the market, more people bought inventory leftover of old gas-burning cars than these. And no, the V6 won't change many minds either. It better be a Hemi V8, or don't even bother with it anymore. Well, would you look at that? Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Go watch something else now, maybe even something from my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. And I will always love. I'm going to sing it for real. And I will always. No, I'm not. See you in the next one. Cut!